greatest source of inefficiency for most organisations lies in working relationships. 75% of people leave jobs because of relationship issues, and most of those are with their immediate supervisor. An even better place to work has been designed to tackle that as directly as possible. So quite simply, it's just about improving the quality of work life for people, and by implication, improving the impact of leadership across the business. I've created 7 keys for an even better place to work. People feeling valued. All the research will tell us that valued people are productive people. High self-esteem is the fuel for performance. People being open, discussing the undiscussable, all those kind of issues which get in the way of working relationships. People engaging in feedback. We all know how important feedback is to high levels of performance. And all of these are interrelated. People who feel valued, much more likely to be open. People who feel valued and are open are much more likely to engage in feedback, which of course lead to more motivated people, impacting on the bottom line, greater levels of productivity, managing their differences so the differences don't get in the way. People taking ownership. How often do I come across that in organisations? How do I engage my people? How do I get them taking ownership? This is built into the programme. And minimal dysfunctional conflict, so people and organisations are not losing time to unnecessary conflict, argument and misunderstanding. You will either see good or bad feelings in people and organisations. Good feelings tell us the need has been met. Bad feelings tell us there's an unmet need there. If nobody connects with the bad feeling, does it go away? It doesn't. It now becomes a moan, an accusation, a demand, a blame. And when people are accused and are criticised, do they connect with the need? Usually not. They get defensive, which means that unmet need now finds a more tragic and dramatic expression. The row, the slam door, the strike, the resignation, all the stuff you don't want in an organisation, all the stuff that's hurting the bottom line. Now, an even better place to work works back here, making sure you don't even get the bad feeling and certainly none of all this stuff. How does it do it? Very simply by what I call proactive feedback. Really, it's people checking out with each other. Am I getting it right for you? Does my style work for you? Do you feel I understand you? Do I meet your needs? Very simply asking those questions and then having problem-solving conversations about those to make sure the needs are met as closely as possible, thereby engaging staff and staff taking ownership for their needs, to make sure we have happy staff, to make sure we have an even better place to work. To solve their people problems, many organisations go down the training route. Now, those of us involved in training know the transfer is minimal. It's a bit like an open fire, most of the heat goes up the chimney, very little into the room. If I want to go to London, please, I need to hire a car. I don't need to know how an internal combustion engine works. Somebody does, not me. People don't need to know the theory of Maslow, but they do need to know whether I'm meeting your needs, whether you're meeting my needs, and we problem solve so both our needs are met as fully as possible. An even better place to work is a car you can rent. It will take you to London or wherever it is you want to, and when you've arrived, you stop renting. It will make that difference for you. The programme is supported by online metrics and activities. It will provide quality data to decision makers in an organisation, allowing them to make targeted interventions, strategic interventions, improving the quality of people's lives and the impact of leadership across their business. As we know, theory changes nothing. It's theory plus action plus engagement will make the difference. It's friendly, it's easy to use, it's designed for busy people, it's common sense. But as we know, common sense just isn't common.
We had conducted some customer surveys, and the feedback that we had got from those surveys some of the feedback was a bit disappointing.
So there were a lot of problems with interdepartmental squabbles between them, and really needed to start to address those things.
The programme helps leadership, both in helping the leaders, the people that in the hierarchy are shown as leaders, do better jobs. But also it certainly helps even me, recognise that I am responsible in my relationship with my boss.
The programme appealed because we would be able to improve the ways that individuals communicated within a department, and then we could go beyond the individual department and actually improve the ways that departments work cross-functionally, and that was all contained within one programme, but in a safe way, in a way that actually allowed people to participate effectively.
We've made some progress. We've made as much progress as I had set the team to expect by this time. We're about halfway through. And I believe we'll make a lot more progress.
It was very well received. So supervisory and managerial abilities went up. They were better able to understand the issues with the staff and to resolve them before conflicts got deep. And from everybody's point of view, they found that their relationships improved. Now, that wasn't just relationships internally, it was also their home relationships. And that as well has a knock-on effect on how happy they are at work.
There is that change, that people themselves are responding through the mechanisms to say, no, they're feeling better about it. They're feeling more valued, more listened to, or whatever parameter we're asking.
I think that the main impact on the culture was to move away from some of the blame organisation that it had been. So rather than departments pointing fingers at each other and saying, you're not doing it right, they started to discuss the issues and to resolve them in a collaborative sense.
It was fun, it was safe. The very first team that we worked with were able to get very important issues out on the table, and some improvements were found. And I think that success meant that other people were interested in it. But importantly, it wasn't the success that was being talked about by the managers, it was the people who had been part of that workshop. So they were actually spreading the word.
We're beginning to have a language and expectation of each other, which is changing as a result of this. And I think we're picking up skills from this that we can use in relationships with other parts of the business or with other stakeholders in the environment.
We found that departments worked much better as an entity in themselves. Cross-functionally, we saw major improvements, and we actually extended the programme beyond the departments and actually worked with our customers as well. So we took it one step further. We went outside of the company and started using it with our customers as well. So not only did we see improved communications and working mechanisms, but actually bottom line results in terms of reduction in penalties on major contracts, because we were actually talking to the customer rather than waiting for a contract meeting, penalties get issued, etc. So, yeah.
The programme, for me, provides me with the mechanism to improve the work environment for my staff.
I think that there were a number of really important differences that it made in terms of the generation of ideas, the resolution of conflicts, and I think that there were lots of intangible benefits that came as well in terms of helping people to be happier at work with conflicts not getting out of hand.
If my team members don't like something, then they have the skills, they have the ability, they have the resources to do something about that.
I would say that it's a really focused way of getting training in the right place, at the right time, to the right people.
It was an innovative and enjoyable programme which enabled employees to engage really quickly and improvements be recognised. Do it.